we are.
Tell me he's changed, at least a little.
Have fun finding out.
Hello there. You had my brother killed.
In all the 20 years that I have spent perched upon the spire, not once have I seen my city so broken.
Tristan was telling me the war's almost over.
Over? When does a war end? When the trumpets of peace sound? When the mask runners are dead in the gutter? No. It ends when it ceases to echo through every street, or shadow every face. It is over when the halls that it has emptied fill once again. This war is far from over. I trust the past 5 years have treated you well?
They've been kind.
Kind? Is that what you call those years you spent throwing all your coin at barkeeps, fleeing the grip of sobriety?
How?
The Cavalli Fields may be located across the belt, but it's still within the registry's vigil.
And so is plagued by old rats. Why am I here?
The answer is all around you. You've been to the docks. You've walked through the grounds. How many portieri enjoy the company of Masquerades?
Tristan told me. The city's losing too many of them.
We must learn the secrets of the Masquerades. Learn how to stop them from disintegrating upon their wearer's death.
This is a job better suited for the Vigilist.
Widen your mind, Cicero. You think I called you here to bury your nose in dusty tomes? You are not the first that I've spoken to of these matters. A regente of mine was tasked 3 months ago to explore the annals we have on Masquerades. You are here to find him.
How long's he been missing?
He missed sending in his last report due 20 days ago.
And you've sent no one else?
Ophina and Corvus were sent to investigate.
What did they find?
I like the
That
name
their
of
songs were shorter than they expected.
Both of them?
Ophina was found hanging in her room, hands tied, wrists slit. Corvus's body was not so fortunate. Whoever it was had resources, wit, knowledge, finesse.
Oh, that's
Pity the
grim.
two before you managed to find nothing apart from their own deaths.
So you called me back to feed me to the dogs?
No, I called you back to find my regente. If the canines come at you while you're at it, well,
You're a fool if you think I'll do this.
I'll think much more than that if you turn away. Especially if you read the case notes. You might find the name of my regente interesting.
Oh,
Razatov.
You two were acquainted, were you not?
another
Anything
acquaintance.
else?
Only that you are to breathe no word whatsoever to anyone else regarding this case.
Is this an ex?
Everything else you need is in those notes. Arm yourself in the Hall of Bearings, then see what you can find. His office in the East Wing is probably a good place to start. That is all.
Okay, so Avestus Aliarme the First. There are few as calculative as Avestus Aliarme. Certainly I do not look to him to learn anything regarding matters of ethics of the art, but when it comes to being efficient and objective, I consider him a master. I'd like to say that he hasn't always been this way, and then I'd proceed to tell you of a tragic tale that made his heart so callous, but to do so would require me to fabricate a lie. For all the time I have known him, which amounts to a fair bit, he has always put the welfare of the city and the registry above everything else, his personal affairs included. Yet, yes, there is certainly something about his doggedness to be admired, but I do wonder how much it's cost him. I know he's given up much, but on the outside he shows little remorse or regret. How much there is true on the inside, however, I have not gleaned. The Vaurone. The Vaurone of Umber is perhaps the most famous, if not respected, figure in the nation. As the leader of the registry, with an abode sitting at the tip of the White Spire, the entire city falls under their gaze. The influence that the Vaurone had over the city was, in times past, unparalleled, but with the rise to power of the guilds, that influence has begun to wane somewhat. So, the way they describe their deaths, the deaths were so grim, but the way actually said that they were dead was so poetic, was so nice. Their songs were shorter than expected. I love that. I absolutely love that. What's this? Is this day 1? Okay. Razidov's office, conoscenza. Cicero Gavar back to Umber. But is this is like a journal? Or like a case file, I guess. Occupation, yeah, no, okay. Name of subject, Razidov Azrus, 39. Occupation, Regenti. Date of report, 29th Pika. Whatever month that is. Inspector attached Ofina Triana. Again, loved your name. May you rest in peace. May your song echo throughout the world. I don't know, I was trying to make the poetic thing from before. Anyway, on the 39th of Ruvida, 407 IL, Regenti Razidov Asrus was tasked with elucidating the methods through which Masquerades were created. He was appointed this task by Baorone Avestus Aliarme. On the 43rd of Ruvida, how many days are in a month? He submitted, and how many months? Like, why do you, I don't like this. I mean, at least give me something like, you know, in this world there's this many months and this many days in each month. You know, like, that should be a basic thing that you don't need to find out. But, like, I don't know, is Ruvida, I'm guessing Ruvida is before Pika, because, you know, this is explaining the past. Anyway, he submitted his first update to the Varone concerning his findings. In it, he writes that he believed that for something as core to the Dimenticate civilization as Masquerades, there must be anthropological evidence regarding their existence and creation that he can find through detailed study of Dimenticate history, or Dimenticate. Again, I don't know how these how they pronounce Italian sounding things. He continues on writing that a visit to the Conoscenza must be paid. He is sure to find what he needs there. A loose sheet found within his report reveals what specifically was in search for. Books that talk about the Dimenticate and power, about wielding immense power, creating power, using it to expand on, or anything that even remotely smacks of strength or supremacy. These are good places to start. I will head to the Conoscenza tomorrow to speak to Kairi. So 30th of Pika is... this is an update of the report. Kairi has said that Razidov never approached her for assistance. None of the Vigilus that I've spoken to have seen him around in the past month. He must have either done his work in secrecy or never followed up on his original plan. Tomorrow I intend on returning to the Conoscenza. Following his leads will bring me closer to his current whereabouts, I am certain. 38th of Pika. The investigation has been handed over to Inspector Corvus Digividus. Inspector Athena's corpse was found in her room at approximately dusk on the 33rd of Pika. She was found hanging, but she was tied up, right? It's not suicide. I don't know. The investigation has taken a darker turn. Age is forbid and it is growing steadily. Avestus has told me to focus on Rasitov and to do so quietly. Whoever did that to Athena is still out there, so yeah, it was murder. I do not know how well I will sleep at night knowing these halls are not safe, but the Varona has reminded me that if someone was out to stop us from finding Rasitov, it must mean that he knows something. Avestus believes that finding the Regenti is of higher priority than identifying Athena's murderer. If I can find both along the way, that would be ideal, but ages, I will be the first to admit that I might have been put in waters too deep for me. I have spoken to Lucia and warned her about the treachery. Now that's how they call her, so I'm gonna call her that as well, but I don't like it. If Athena was a target, then none of us are safe. Darius, Pasha, and Riva aren't in the city at the moment, and for their sakes, I am glad. Damn it, where's Cicero when you need him? Ooh, okay, so you actually wanted me. Cool. No matter, I must focus. Again, I don't know who any of you are, but apparently you knew me. No matter, I must focus. Tomorrow I will check Rasitov's office. I think it's a prudent place to begin. At least it isn't my poor friend's bloody footprints. I hope she gets a good song. I love that. I really love that. Nothing. His office clearly doubled as his living quarters. He'd holed himself up in there for quite some time, or at least had planned to, but there is nothing amiss. But then again, something didn't quite feel right when I wasn't there. In fact, something hasn't quite felt right since I started this investigation. Siren songs, and the others, always mock my superstitious ways, but how can I deny a feeling so strong? I cannot put my finger on it, but I can swear by the ages that I am being watched. If anything is to happen to me, and if this case somehow falls into someone else's hands, know that I advise caution. Lucia, if that next person is you. Songs, get out of here while you still can. Tomorrow I plan to figure out what it is exactly that has been causing the hairs on my neck to rise. Once I deal with that, I believe I'll be able to better focus on the task at hand. The remains of Inspector Corvus's body have been found in his personal residence in a dim way. The investigation is pending action. A letter has been sent to the Cavalli field, summoning former Inspector Cicero Gavar back to Umber. The investigation has been handed over to former Inspector Cicero Gavar. And lead Rasitov's office, Conoscenza. Okay. Hello, you.
Survived the trial, I see.
Please don't tell me you're the...
Bastard's still as oily as ever.
Careful.
Don't tell me you're the spy.
Walls have ears.
Or
So,
the mole. Or
Was
whatever.
I right?
This is about the Regent
The one who's been
gone
killing
missing.
everybody.
Razatov.
That's the one? Didn't he...
Saved my life. Yes. Avestus used that against me.
So now you're on the case too.
Any advice then?
Just... try not to die. We've lost enough Inspectores as is.
You can bet on that. Now, I need to read these notes first. Then to the Hall of Bearings for a masquerade. Still have time to accompany an old friend?
Why not?
Friend? Sure, that's what we call them. You know, in the historian way. Rasitov Asrus the First. Never in my wildest imaginations had I ever thought that my relationship with this bespectacled friend of mine would turn out the way it did. Quiet and reserved, Rasitov and I first had met in the Conoscenza, where I'd been preparing for the dreadful Accredita. Meshenza is my least favorite of all the media. Most things I've learned on the streets, not between the pages of a book. Rasitov, however, was quite the opposite, a lover of histories and theorems. I initially could not stand his presence. Facts and postulations seemed to bleed forth from every inch of his being, from his head right down to the ends of his boots. He'd seen me struggling with the calculus section of the paper I'd been working on, in one of the deeper and more isolated sections of the Conoscenza. I was preparing, attempting to at least, for my accreditor the following day, and he could barely keep it to himself. You need to use Roderick's theorem for that. His voice was thin, reed-like, and left the silence of the Conoscenza quite untouched. Excuse me, I said, turning to my left, where he sat. The image to this day I recall with perfection. A soft hat, far too large for his head. Small spectacles perched atop a thin nose. I like him. He pulled back slightly. Perhaps I'd spoken too loudly, offended the silence that he might have found sacred. I said, he said, even softer than before, Roderick's theorem. Roderick's theorem? What did he think I was, a scholar? Here, he said, inching a little closer before coming to a stop. He held out his hand, it quivered a little. If I may. Be my guest, I said, pushing over my quill and my papers to him. No, he said, and he began to explain the process to solve the question. I couldn't repeat the steps to you now if I tried, but enough of the technique stayed in my mind that I passed that section of the accreditor the day after. What surprised me even more, though, was that he'd come for the ceremony that evening. He sought me out after it ended. Cicero, it said from behind, just as I was leaving the hall. I turned and recognized him immediately. Razidov, what are you doing here? I came to see how you did, he replied as he wrung his hands. I found that curious. Why would he care? I did fine. I passed, I replied, still somewhat wary. What did he want from me? Oh, he said as he breathed out, clearly relieved. Excellent news. Just excellent. Why? I asked, frowning. Why excellent? Why not? I was hoping you'd do well, see? I know it might sound selfish, but I was hoping that I'd been a good enough tutor last night, and here you are, passing. I was so worried about you when you told me your accreditor was today, with your calculus at that standard. Ages didn't need help, all right. And now you've done fantastic. I knew you could do it, I just did. And that was the moment that I began to believe that beneath that blustering exterior, behind all those books and theorems and ideas, lay a heart among the most sincere I will come to know. And that belief has been proven true, time and time again, and now he's missing. Now, for perhaps the first time in my life, I'm in a position to help him and not the other way around. I have to find him. Oh, that sounds so cute. So, he is your ex. I mean, that's what I got from there. Clearly, they started something after that. Oh?
My brother is missing. At least let me speak to the Valencio.
Your color isn't welcome here.
Your
A
color?
member of the Blue Guild. Here.
You're all blue.
Curious sight indeed. You can take care of yourself?
All of your
I'm not a
banners are blue.
child, Tristan.
Really?
Get out.
Tell me more. The Seymour and guild politics. The 6 guilds of Umber are collectively known as the Seymour, and they comprise the Sorelle del Mare, the Luca Infinita, the Laboris Solis, the Altus Nobilis, the Dieci Sovrani, and the Cacciatore. Though these are certainly by no means the only guilds the city has ever known, they are the only ones that have withstood the whittling test of time, and together with the registry make up all of the Masquerada of the city. Despite their commonality in possessing Masquerades, however, the Seymour are rife with disagreement, and the politics that course between them are far too convoluted to spell out simply. Suffice to say, it is nearly impossible to bring all of the Seymour together in a single room without having them at each other's throat. Hello there. You look very beautiful, just saying. So, I'm not actually sure what the Randaja are. Randaja means wild in or more than wild, it means stray in Italian. So is the Randagia where the Contadani are? I did read it. Let me go back actually. Is it in culture? I don't think it was in culture. Yeah, no. No, not in factions. Or maybe it was in factions. Contadani. The plains are still within the national borders of Umber, and settlements in the plains that are collectively known as the Randagia house a great many of the... Yeah, okay. So the Randagia are the... where the... yeah, the Randagia are settlements of the Contadanis. Of course, the Contadani are strays.